Right, this is Ashley Robinson and Conor Madden, Unit 15, Task 1. Right, lads, off we go. P1. Describe the principles of fitness training for me.
Right, for that I've been researching and looking at the 11 components of fitness. And the first one I'll be talking about is agility. This is the ability to change your body's positioning in very quick motion at different times in a game without taking too much strain on your muscles or struggling to do it. The best examples of players that use this agility is like tennis players and badminton and stuff like that. An example for me would be world's #2 tennis player Djokovic. Obviously has to compete at the highest level at Wimbledon and stuff. And to improve this, Djokovic would he works 40-yard dash with poles, so that's simply where you set a few poles out, a few yards within each other, and you just run in and out of the poles, and then obviously it's going to get your body a bit more loose and agile.
Right, next one's balance. Balance is where you have the ability to complete a skill while remaining in an upright position. If a player is running with the ball and the player tries tackling them, and they can keep the ball and perform a skill well, and still being up in the correct position. A great example of this would be Cristiano Ronaldo, as he can remain upright in any position, performing most skills, and he will get a lot of players diving in at him because they can't catch him, or they may obviously be jealous, as he's get a better player and get a bit frustrated with themselves. And jumping, a good way he may improve his balance would be by doing in place hiding. This is where you can jump from one leg to another, switching body position and keeping your balance.
The third one we looked at was coordination. This is where you can perform two skills at the same time consistently. So if, say, you're a basketball player, you've got to bounce the ball, you've got to count how many times you've got it, you can't go back over, you've got to run with the ball. But the best example for me for this was the Formula 1 driver, because they've got to do many things while in the car. They've got to do gears, KERS, DRS, corners, positioning, just pit stops, etc. An example of that would be Fernando Alonso. Obviously he's a great driver and he knows what he's doing. The training for this though is just simple skipping ropes. That's what they do, because they get the coordination going and then they change it over and change legs and stuff, and then they get better coordination.
Another component of fitness is power. Power is the ability to do strength work at an explosive pace. People that play sports like rugby, NFL and basketball, players need to be able to perform strong parts of the game at the highest standard. An example of this is LeBron James, the basketball player. He needs to be able to have the power to run with the ball and jump into the air and get the ball into the net with power. He would do leg workouts at the gym using high weights with low reps.
Another one is reaction. This is the amount of time it takes a person to react to something, e.g. a shot, start light, etc. A good example of these are like goalkeepers in football. Obviously they need to, because if someone has a shot and they can't see, and they see it last minute, they've got to be able to react, get down on the shot, get up to the shot, whatever. They change their positioning to stop the shot from going in. A good example of this is David De Gea for Manchester United. He's becoming one of the best keepers in Premier League for me, because obviously the shots he gets at him is doing quite well now. He trains this though. What he does is he'll face the opposite way to the coach behind him, and the coach will throw a ball at him and tell him when to turn, and David De Gea's got to turn and react to the ball and catch the ball, and that'll obviously improve his reaction when he goes into the games.
Speed. Speed is the ability to complete a skill or move at a fast pace and faster than others. An example of this is for me would be Amir Khan, as he is a really fast boxer and needs to be able to land hard punches with a fast pace. Much faster than his opponent, otherwise his opponent could land them quicker. You could train on the speed to the cone runs, set 6 cones out, a few yards apart from each other, set a stopwatch going and has to run to the first cone and back, and second etc.
Another component of fitness is flexibility. This is the ability to carry out a technique you are wanting to do, but in an extravagant manner and in positions most people couldn't do. So it's like a unique people, obviously, when they train right they can become more flexible. Like gymnasts, trampolinists, people like that. But an example for me is Louis Smith, the gymnast. He has to be able to get his joints up and around in certain positions, so that obviously come in the points for medals and stuff. And the main way he trains, it's not really training, but when he wakes up, he stretches loads. He does mobilising stretches, static stretches and dynamic stretches, and I know it's only simple, but that's his most effective way of... Obviously he'll go and train, but that's what he does through the day. He'll stretch a lot, and obviously he's loose, and he can be more flexible when it comes to the event.
Cardiovascular endurance. Cardiovascular endurance is the ability to be able to continue going in a tennis sport longer than others. Sports like tennis, cycling, running are a good example of is Chris Froome. He won the Tour de France this year due to the determination of how fit he was. He could keep going longer than his body told him to, which led him to winning the Tour de France. A simple and effective way to this is treadmills. You can set them to a level you need and want, then push yourself to get fitter and go for longer.
Another one, final for you now, is body composition. This is all about the type of body you have. It's like your physique and what if it's fit enough for that sport. So people like rugby players and NFL players have a big physique. They need a big physique for that sport. Because they need to be able to take tackles and stuff like that. And an example of this would be John Abraham, the NFL player. Obviously he's got a good physique in his body because there's a lot of big players in the NFL, and obviously if they're going to run at him, he needs to be able to take the tackles. But what he does is he works most muscles he's got. He works them at the gym, so he does weight training, ab training, quads, etc., calves. So he'd do weights. He'd go on the leg press, stuff like that, chest press. Obviously he'd do a few ab work with balls and stuff.
Muscular strength. This is the ability to compete at a sport that needs you to be able to work out for a long period of time. Things like the velodrome, for me, a great example of this is Sir Chris Hoy. He was the best in the velodrome in his prime, and this is simply because he could keep going for long periods of time that it took. You can train this on the cycling machine in the gym. You can alter the setting to make it harder for longer or easier for shorter.
And then the last one we did was muscular endurance. Obviously this is the ability to do something that requires short bursts. For instance, 100 metre sprint. Obviously the main example of this for everyone's probably Usain Bolt. He has to be able to get the maximum out of his body for the short that he does, because he doesn't take part for very long, but he's the world's best at it. And what he does is he gets a sprinting chute where he ties like a sort of parachute to him, and then he's got to sprint to the end of the line, and he's got to see how fast he's getting, and obviously if it's working, and it does for him, makes him faster and stronger. So that's it for the 11 components of fitness.
Now it's 6 health and safety considerations associated with exercise programs and sessions.
So this is for P2 and M1, yeah?
Yeah.
Describe and explain it. Right.
First one is a risk assessment. There are many cases in which you have accidents and injuries. If you are an active participant in sport or exercise, you may have experienced some form of injury. This is often due to the high nature of injury risks associated with sport and exercise. It is often the case that organisers of sport events have done everything they can to safeguard you while you take part in your sport. The main element of this safeguard comes through the completion of risk assessments.
The second one in the health and safety was a PARQ. This is checking the physical activity readiness of someone. So you give them a questionnaire, they fill it in, you observe it, see if they're ready to do the activity that you've got set out for them. Or if not, if they've got something that you see is a health and safety risk, you've got to tell them that they can't take part in the sport. So it's just basically making sure that they're fit enough to take part in the sport and being physically ready for it.
The next one is equipment check. At a professional level, this responsibility will be shared among several people, from ground staff to management. There will be club doctors and other medical staff, but for lower clubs and other sporting organisations competing at a lower level, it results in the coach will bear the majority of the responsibility for ensuring participant safety. And whilst it's very common that injuries are part and parcel of sport from time to time, it's crucial that the chances of injury and accidents occurring are minimised. So by checking equipment such as obviously all the footballs, all maybe cones, anything, so that can be minimised, make sure it's all correct and all equipment they've got.
A second health and safety one is if you're going into the gym, you need to do gym induction. Gym instructors need to, say if I were going to the gym for the first time, they'd have to show me what I've got to do correct so I don't injure myself. Then the gym induction includes a medical evaluation, technical and procedural orientation, planning, interview. So they've got to make sure that you know what you're doing after they've told you. So if you've just not listened, then you're not going to be able to go in. Every member will most likely be requested to complete a medical questionnaire as well before they go in. And in some cases a report of a formal doctor's evaluation, so they'd have to go to doctors and make sure everything's alright. And if they've got if they suffer from pains or dizziness and stuff, then obviously they won't be allowed into the gym.
Next one's first aid. Every trainer or coach should have undertaken a first aid course, as they are in charge of customer safety in the gym. There are loads of one-day health and safety courses to choose from. All staff need to do their basic level 1. If a customer collapses, they should know how to put them in a covered position or cover up open wounds, as it is important, as customer safety is key.
The last one is gym well-being. Obviously, the gym needs to be kept neat and tidy, because it's usually a busy place, and some equipment being left out, such as dumbbells, can be trip hazards, which may lead to injury, and then obviously that causes trouble. You need to make sure everything's kept in the correct place. Everyone knows where to go straight away after a workout. If they're working chest and they want to go to legs, so make sure they know where to go straight after. Making sure it's clean, obviously, because dumbbells have got metal on, so they can get rusty, and then if you've got cuts and stuff, it's going to infect it. It can also come into equipment check as it part of the gym, so it's part of obviously when you're in your gym induction, you show them what's what, and that's it. The gym well-being, keep it clean.
Right. Okay, so just going back to P1 then, which do you think is the most important principle for fitness training then, for general sport?
I'd say.
Give me two and try and link it to two different sports.
Agility, because you've obviously got to move about. If you can't move about, then you can't play sport.
Right.
I'd say coordination, because most sports require you to do two things at once. Say football, you've got to run with the ball, pick a pass out, look. Basketball, you've got to do it. Cycling, you've got to pedal and look and observe where everyone is in front of you. NFL, rugby, all that sort of stuff.
I'd say balance as well, because if you can't balance in the right position, a lot of obviously pulling in with every sport, you need to be a bit of balance. If you can't balance it, you're not going to be able to complete anything.
Right, good. And then which do you think is the most important health and safety consideration?
I'd say the first aid. Make sure someone's got first aid training in case anything happens in the gym, obviously, or whatever sport, football, etc. If someone breaks a leg or something like that, they need a first aid there.
I'd say parkour, because obviously if you know that someone's injured or has got some, well, I don't know, like an injury before you've started the session, you can stop it or sort it out before the start, and obviously it might make it worse in your session, causing more of a problem. So if you obviously already knew about all problems you've got, then you can sort it out before you've started your session.
Right.